Hey, what's going on everyone? Josh Quinones here, and today is the official release of specs for the TCL 10 devices. Now, I did get to spend some time with these phones at CES, but they weren't really able to give us too much information at that time. Very little information. So today is the day that we have all been waiting for. We got the TCL 10 5G, we got the 10 Pro, and the 10L. So we're gonna go ahead and check them out, see what they have to offer, starting with the highest end model of all these three devices, the TCL 10 5G. So when I had my hands on time with the 10 5G, it was a beautiful looking device. They all were, but this one had a really cool, unique crystal design on its 3D glass back, which is what really caught my eye the most. It's something that you don't see every day on a phone, so I think it's really cool that they went with a design like this. So looking more at the back, you'll notice the fingerprint sensor, which I still think is the perfect spot for it since your finger just naturally rests there. Then we got that camera setup, which includes a 64 megapixel sensor, an 8 megapixel sensor, a 5 megapixel sensor, and a 2 megapixel sensor, which I believe is a macro lens. So that will be pretty cool to get those really close up shots with a lot of detail. We also have up to 10 times digital zoom, 4K video recording, portrait mode, pro mode, and stop motion video mode. It's also going to have super night mode, so I'm really curious to see what night photos will look like, because I mean, it's got the word super in it, but I'm pretty sure we can expect some good decent photos and video coming from this device, especially for the price, because all of these phones are supposed to be priced under $500. Yes, $500, so keep that in mind. Now going to the front, we have a 6.5 inch Full HD Plus LCD display, then a hole punch cutout at the top left for the 16 megapixel selfie camera. Now, it doesn't have the thinnest bezels, but the display does still look pretty nice and runs nice and smooth as well, at least with the short hands-on time I had with the device. The 10 5G will come with 6 gigabytes of RAM, 128 gigabytes of internal storage, and the option to add an SD card up to 1 terabyte for extra storage, which I think is awesome. It's also going to come with a good size 4500 milliamp battery, and it's going to run the Snapdragon 765 processor. So not a flagship processor, but you got to remember this is around a $500 device, and I personally think that specs sound pretty nice for the price. And one thing that all of these TCL 10 devices come with that you don't really see anymore in any other phone is a headphone jack. Yes, while others are getting rid of it, TCL is bringing it. So I'm pretty happy about that. And then of course, on all three models, we have the speakers, charging port USB Type-C, the power button, volume rockers, and another button that you can actually customize to be used for your voice assistant or a specific app. Now, colors that will be available for the 10 5G are chrome blue, which I really like, and a mercury gray. So moving on to the 10 Pro, this one has got to be my favorite out of the three as far as looks go. It's got a nice matte finish to it. It still has that 4 camera setup in the back with the same 64 megapixel sensor. It's got a 16 megapixel sensor, a 5 megapixel, and a 2 megapixel sensor as well. And according to the specs, these cameras will be able to provide very detailed images with its instant focus and 64 megapixel AI quad cam, some nice ultra wide shots, nice close-ups with macro mode, a low light video mode, which is cool, and a lot more. But the reason I like this setup more is because the cameras are pretty much flush with the back, and I also like that they made that camera strip go from edge to edge. I think it's just a really cool look, especially in the green color, which they are calling forest mist green, and then the second color they are calling ember gray. Now you'll notice that there is no fingerprint sensor in the back of this one, and that's because it has an in-display fingerprint sensor, which I actually didn't know when I got hands-on time with this device. Like I said earlier, information was very limited, so I'm barely learning about this as well. So yes, fingerprint sensor will be in that 6.47 inch AMOLED display that will also have Full HD Plus resolution. And I gotta say, the display looks really nice. It's got curved edges, giving it a nice premium look. And if you look closely to the top, you can see it's got a teardrop notch for the 24 megapixel selfie camera, instead of that punch hole cutout that we saw on the 10 5G. And it's just an overall really good looking display. Colors pop and are nice and vibrant. It runs really smooth. Inside the device, we have 6 gigabytes of RAM, 128 gigabytes of storage with an SD card slot to expand your memory up to an extra extra 256 gigabytes. This one also has a 4,500 milliamp battery with quick charge 3.0 and reverse charging as well, which is really cool. Qualcomm Snapdragon 675, and it will be running Android 10 out of the box, as all other models will be. Overall, I think it's a beautiful looking device, especially in the green color. I think it looks awesome, and I can't wait to get one in hand to really test it out a lot longer than what I had with my hands-on time at CES. So moving on to the 10L, this will be the lower end model out of all three models, but even though it's on the lower end, it's still a really nice looking device, looking pretty much like the 10 5G with the fingerprint sensor on the back and that quad camera setup. Only difference is the design pattern when the light shines on it. I think it still looks really cool. So looking at the cameras, we have a 48 megapixel main lens, an 8 megapixel super wide lens, a 2 megapixel macro lens, and a 2 megapixel depth sensor. Now, even though being the lower end model, this device will still be able to record video in 4K, which is always nice. Then going over to the front, we have a 6.53 inch Full HD Plus LCD display, again pretty much looking like the 10 5G with that 16 megapixel hole punch camera cutout at the top left corner. Still a pretty nice looking display, but I gotta admit it's not as nice as that AMOLED display on the 10 Pro. So specs for the 10L include 6 gigabytes of RAM, 64 gigabytes of storage with an SD card slot to expand storage up to an extra 256 gigabytes. It's got Android 10 out of the box with the Snapdragon 665 processor and a 4,000 milliamp battery. Colors that will be available for the 10L are Arctic White and Mariana Blue. So overall, I think TCL is doing some good things with these devices, especially for a price of around $500 or less. I'm really curious to see how overall performance will be after some good usage. But y'all let me know what you think down in the comments below. What do you think of the specs and the overall device? Are these phones something that maybe you're looking forward to? Let me know down in the comments. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a huge thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss out on any other videos to come. Thank you so much for watching. This is Josh Quinones, and I will see you all on the next one. Peace out.